It's a great band.
I love that band. Hi! Hi! What a crowd.
They're very friendly.
It's a great crowd.
Now then.
Oh.
You're obviously, you're enjoying yourself.
Oh, I'm having a great time here. Love it here. You know, I love all the different cars. You have a lot of different cars here than we have in the States.
Well, they're smaller.
Smaller cars? I'm a car freak. And I like freak cars. You've got some freak cars. I saw that one with the 3 wheels going by. Have you seen that one? Obviously on the way to the repair shop, I suppose. Very strange cars. I rented a car, and I had a little tough time with the left-hand drive. But you've got a great solution built into the whole system. You got the roundabouts. You just get on the roundabout, you're all set. I just stay on there. I find it's very easy to spend the entire day just trying to get off it.
You don't have those, do you?
No, we don't have those roundabouts. I just sit on there, and time goes by. Eventually, I return the car. And it's good if you break down. You're never very far from where you started out.
Perhaps the driving school should teach people, as the world is getting smaller now, how to deal with different countries and their various traffic rules.
Yes, I never...
Wrong side of the road? I mean, that's got to be a problem for you, driving.
Yes, no, I never went to driving school. They should teach that.
You didn't go?
No, never went. You know where I learned to drive? I learned to drive on the bumper car ride. Do you remember that ride?
The Dodgems.
The Dodgems. You call it Dodgem.
We call them
Well,
Dodgems.
it's kind of a silly name. It's the last thing you want to do on there. It's like calling a shooting gallery Miss 'em. You're good. I remember I used to watch kids on that ride. I used to see kids trying to... There's always one guy on the Dodgem ride that could never do it. Do you remember that one kid who was always like the loser of the ride? As soon as the ride gets started, he gets stuck in a pack of empty cars. Have the attendant hanging off the back helping him steer it, you know, just... And that one guy that loves to hit, going around every time, loves to hit. Saliva on his chin as he's driving around. The pit crew is working on the car. But the worst car on the ride is not the loser. There's one car even worse than the loser. I'm sure you remember them. The helpless father and son team. There's no way they can get anything going. They're just standing there. Ho-ho, son, would you turn the wheel, please? Listen, can't get anything going. Love that ride.
That's a good observation.
Oh, yeah. I once broke down while I was driving. That's the most frightening experience when you break down.
Especially on those freeways in America.
Oh, yes, because you just stand there. You know, people, I'm watching people, they just get out, you know, because you have to pretend like you know what you're doing. So you get out, you walk around the front, you open up the hood, you look in. What are you looking for? You're hoping to find something incredibly obviously wrong. Something so simple even you can handle it. A giant on-off switch, on-off.
Or a telephone to direct to a garage.
Call them up, get me out of here.
We find that...
Do I have some juice?
Juice? What, for the car? For you? We find in this country that the American comedians that visit us do not do what we call the old-fashioned joke routine.
Yeah.
It's observation.
Right.
All the time, and then you embroider upon it. So obviously, you don't run short that way of funny things to say.
No, huh? I never run short of things to say. Often funny things to say, I run short of that. But I like to go into the stores, you know, and see things. I was in Barker's, and I noticed the pajamas. Pajamas, I bring up pajamas. Because pajamas.
Oh, you said you bring them up. I wonder what you meant. You've been eating them.
Oh, is that what you say, that you bring them up?
Let's not talk about that.
No, let's not.
You were in Barker's.
Pajamas, I think, are the world's funniest clothes. Have you ever noticed, for some reason, they designed pajamas to look like a tiny suit? They give you a little collar, a button down, breast pocket. Now there's a useful item. Is anybody using the breast pocket on your pajamas? What, do you put a pen in there, you roll over in the middle of the night, you kill yourself? I also bought some slippers, which I never had before.
Slippers?
Never. Never had them. Never had slippers. Not once have I ever had them. Because I never had an apartment big enough. You need to walk around a little bit indoors. I didn't even need legs, most of the apartments I've had. I bought slippers. They come in 2 varieties if you've never had slippers, which you probably have. They come in those, one you have the flat kind where you can just slide right in on those. You're right in there. those are like emergency slippers. I mean, you can set those up by the bed in case of emergency. Hey, you pick them right up, you get right into the And the other kind you can get is the shoe type, which kind of comes up in the back. Looks like a pair of shoes. Which, if you have pajamas, looks like a suit. This completes the effect. Now you get yourself a flannel briefcase, you're all set. If you're late for work, go right in, don't change. It's the only way. I also bought socks, which I've had before. Socks, though, I noticed in
What's funny about socks?
In Barker's, they have rows and rows of socks on little hangers. Little plastic hangers. Now, I mean, it looks like all over London there must be hundreds of tiny sock wardrobes. Where people actually, little doors, they slide them open, pick out what they're wearing the next day. These are clean. It's got a little plastic on it from the dry cleaner. That you have dry cleaners about that big?
Yeah, but I got news for you, Jerry. You're not supposed to take the hangers with you. You didn't take the hangers with you?
Sure, I took the hangers. I took the whole display. I take everything.
You're going to have a knock on your door. Look, no more socks, please. We're British. That's.
No, but Des, people don't give socks the credit that they deserve. Socks? No, socks. Of all the articles of clothing, only socks really try and improve themselves. They really have ambition. How many times have you done a big laundry? You go to the dryer, you take out your socks, you count them up. One of them got out. He escaped. Took off on his own. What are his chances out there? I don't think they're good. Did you ever walk down the street, see a dirty sock crumpled in there in the corner by the curb? It's a sock that didn't make it. One of these days I'm going to catch one of these guys hopping out the laundry room. I'm going to say, hey, good luck, pal. Good stuff out there.
Am I right in assuming that with laundrettes and socks and things like that being prevalent in the conversation that you are not married?
That's right.
You live alone? It sounds like you...
I think I got something there.
You could do something?
Yes, I'm not married. The closest I ever came to getting married was being best man. I was best man. Have you ever been best man?
No. Fun enough? No, I haven't.
Really? It's a great feeling. I mean, you walk down that aisle, best. I'm thinking best. I'm the best man. I think it's a little too much. I think we ought to have like a groom and a pretty good man. I mean, after all, if I'm the best man, why is she marrying him?
So let's, if we assume that you're not married, you're obviously living alone, right?
Right?
And living alone...
Well, not totally alone.
You mean you have a friend?
I got plants. See, I got plants. Plants are alive, right? That counts. It's halfway, huh?
You don't know one of these freaks that, excuse me, these gentlemen, I forgot I have had a guest here. You don't talk to plants and all that much.
Sure you do. You see, well, see, because I had a lot of trouble with plants when I first got them. You know, it's not easy to know the nutrition and stuff, although I've gotten pretty good at it now. Now I'm actually at the point where I can get them to die very slowly. As a matter of fact, I actually had a plant commit suicide, though, on me one time. Came home one day, he had made a little noose out of the little rope pot holder, and the pot was kicked out from underneath. He left me a little note. I hate you and your Slim Whitman albums.
I saw you on the Johnny Carson show, and that was your first sort of appearance on TV. He was working with animals, with little animals. Well, we're on the subject of animals. On his head doing strange things. How about working with animals? Would you work with animals?
No, not on stage. I work with a lot of different types of acts. I worked with magicians one time. Sometimes I have a magic act on with the comedian. I've made a study of magicians. I don't really understand the whole point of magic. I mean, what is really the whole point of this whole act? I mean, the guy comes on, he fools you, you feel stupid, show's over. And that's the way they perform. They go like, here's a card, now it's gone, you're a jerk. And you never explain it, you never understand it.
Well, it certainly isn't magic that's brought you this far. And if you get this far, which you're doing very nicely now, it's a British term, very nicely. What did you do before you became a comedian? I mean, is it a sudden, I'm going on the stage, that bit?
Well, yeah, I hadn't really done anything. I had been in university, and then I had no job, no. I never had a real job,
No,
really.
wait a minute. You've never had...
Never! No jobs! There's no work! No, I had a job, I had one job. Just for a couple of weeks. Well, actually, one job I had for one day. I was a cab driver for
Taxi.
one day. Yes, taxi. And I got in the cab, and I had never been in a cab before I got the job to drive one. So I got in the cab, I didn't know how to operate the meter or anything, I didn't know how it worked, you know what I mean? So I get in the cab, I turn on the meter, and I drove off. There was nobody in the car. And I'm driving around, I'm taking in the sights, I'm thinking, this is a good job. I look at the meter, it's got $50, $60, I'm making good money too.
Because the moment you put down that little flag, it'd say not for hire anyway, wouldn't it?
That's right, I couldn't get anybody. I would talk to
try to pick up anyone?
I stopped talking to people. Nobody wants to get in with $75 already on the meter before you even start out, if you know what I mean. Well, I think that you do.
What other job would you have?
I worked as a waiter.
You?
Yeah, well, that's a fun job. Working as a waiter is a fun job because I love when men are with women in a restaurant and they try and be smooth. You know, instead of ordering the check, they'll get one of these. Did you ever see when they get one of these? Just very smooth. And you just go over and spoil it, you know, I would go, would you like the check? No, let's be pen pals, okay? And you see I'm trying to be smooth?
Why do you think we do that? I do that. And also notice, I think it's because there's so many continental waiters that you do that. And also, I think probably we think it's a little suave to go, I know, there you go. I noticed you did it with your left hand.
Oh, yeah.
Was that for the sake of the camera, or are you by nature?
No, I'm really left-handed. That's a big thing with me, being left-handed. Because I really feel... Is anybody left-handed in the audience? Anybody? They have a little trouble clapping. They're here, that's all right. Because the word left itself is always associated with negative things. You ever notice that? Leftovers, they're terrible. Two left feet, left-handed compliment. On television, you ever see a crook named Righty? You never see that. Everything right, they make a positive thing. Right on, the Bill of Rights. You go to a party, there's nobody there, but everybody go. They left.
Like most of the people that we meet from LA, especially the comics, they're all very trim, very slim.
Oh, sure.
And as you know, and I'm sure some of the British public are now becoming familiar with, you're fitness fanatics.
Yes,
right?
very
You've got this, got to keep fit, got to get the diet, got to jog, got to do
there are some people, though, that are not even trying. Have you ever seen, in the Guinness Book of World Records, which I know you're familiar with, the Guinness Book has the world's fattest man, which lives in California. Bob Hughes, the fattest man in the world, 1,400 pounds.
Just a minute, Jerry. That is, can you translate that into English?
That'd be about 100 stone. This is the fattest man in the world, 100 stone. Ladies and gentlemen, the man has let himself go. I mean, that's a lot of weight. Bob Hughes, wherever this guy is, I don't know where he is. If you're watching, have a salad. Do something. Go on a diet. Take off a couple 100 pounds. You realize with this guy, a couple 100 pounds, it doesn't even make a dent. And if you were a friend of his, what would you say to him? You know, you look great, Bob. What are you down to, 1,200 now? You're a whale, baby. You're wasting away. You're down to 90 stone. And what would he say in response? And you know, I feel terrific. Look at these pants. Remember how tight they used to be? I gotta get all new clothes.
Well, you were returning to LA and talking about new clothes. I know you did some shopping here, but
yeah.
How about the weather? Did that catch you out?
The weather reports here, I love the weather reports are the same wherever you go in the world. They're always the same maps. You know, they seem to think that this is very helpful to us, to show us maps of the weather, the highs, the lows, the fronts. My favorite part, the satellite photo. This is really helpful, huh? It's a photograph of the Earth from 10,000 miles away. Can you tell if you should take a sweater or not from that shot? I have no idea. A lot of weather problems. You know, the weather in California is...
You've got earthquakes in. I mean, that's one thing we don't have. And I've touched on the subject before, but I don't know whether people actually said to me, do they really have earthquakes that often? I mean,
They have it's really like every other week, or something. It's a little sure. Sometimes, one time we had, but you know, they put the earthquake report in with the weather forecast. You know, they're very casual about it, and you'll hear partly cloudy with a chance of total regional destruction. I don't know how to dress for that. I heard one report on earthquakes one time. It was in Northern California. They had an earthquake, and they had a guy on the scene. He had the trench coat on and the microphone. He said the earthquake wasn't that bad. It's just that the buildings weren't designed to withstand earthquakes. Would you accept that kind of an explanation? Would you accept that in a court of law? Your Honor, my client didn't murder this man. His body simply wasn't designed to withstand bullets.
Well, you fired a few samples off tonight, and I hope to see you again. Jerry Seinfeld, ladies and gentlemen. Jerry Seinfeld. Thank you.